I've been playing IW for the last couple of weeks. Actually, for the last month and a half, I've just been straight grinding IW. Get an MWR every once in a while, but it's more of a it's more of a I got tired of the game. Like the game is on the verge of dying. Um, COD XP is gonna be in a couple months. There's no way I'm gonna be able to go and play at a. I mean, I can still go because there's one more NJ Rod in July in the middle of the summer. But it's not the sort of I want to go and like it's not that I can't play the game. I can play the game. I can tolerate the bullshit that I experience in the game. But it's sort of like a I don't want to anymore because I just don't like the way like when I first played AW when it first came out, I did not like it because none of the guns were, you know, reliable. Like I couldn't, attach myself to a gun. Like usually when you play a Call of Duty, there's always a gun that you have to go with. Like this game, it's the M16 and the 74U. Those are the two weapons that I use the most. Honestly, obviously I'll pull out an M4 carbine every once in a while. Pull out a P90, some shotties, but it's not something that like the snipers, like the Barrett. Black Ops 2, it was the MSMC, the M8, the AN94, and the Scorpion Evo, and the DSR. But with IW when it first came out, it wasn't a I couldn't find a weapon because there's obviously a variety of weapons including the OSA. I was never a really big fan of the OSA. The ERAD was awful. No, actually all the subs were awful. The K bar wasn't good until they did the first patch, which they they fixed the K bar. The NV4 was good, but it was just the fact that you had to you either had to have a god shot with it with the NV4, or you just had to how do you say it? Like it was just getting your shot on, honestly, just having good accuracy with the NV4. It's not like a K bar where you could slide through a door and hit fire and like a kill. You couldn't really do that with an MV4, and you really still can't because the hip fire is just awful on the gun. But I always compared the NV4 to the Remington R5 from Ghost. It wasn't like a hip fire sort of weapon. It was more of a watch your lane and shoot from a distance sort of weapon. But at the same time, they took a lot away from that weapon. They, obviously with the banning of the Trojan sight, you couldn't play smoke lane tactics without the Trojan. On retaliation, one of my favorite things to do was to smoke the middle hallway and peek it with a Trojan sight. Anybody who popped their head out got bopped. And I honestly enjoy doing things like that because it changes up your strategy changes up within the game and forces the other team to do like sort of like not I mean I guess panic, but when you take things away from that and you force us to use a thermal sight in the middle of the game, it's not fun anymore. Like the Trojan sight was there, it wasn't hurting anybody. Only weirdos used it, but then people got upset. So, no one ever complained when we had to use the hybrid sight in Ghost because it was quote unquote what's it called? There was nothing wrong with it. It wasn't overpowered. Like you couldn't abuse the thermal sight. But when you look at apparently Trojan sights, you can't. Like, it's like you're getting an advantage over people. Like just run it. It's not that bad of a sight, honestly. Anyways, that's over with. Yeah, I just couldn't relate to a specific weapon in the game. Like, I like the Karma 45 in the beta. It was amazing. Thoroughly enjoyed the weapon. Obviously, it got there was a patch or something like that. I didn't enjoy it anymore. I couldn't find a good weapon to use until maybe 2-3 months in the game when I started to really use the NV4. Then I realized that NV4 is not going to be able to win as many gun battles up close as a K-bar. Then I began to use a K-bar. Oh my god, my controller is like on the verge of dying. So I decided to practice the K-bar a lot more. And I honestly, I got a little bit better with it. Come on, die. Anyways, yeah, I started to feel myself a little bit more with the K-bar. I'm not gonna say that I won't use an NV4 every once in a while, but you know, I just don't see myself using actually playing IW anymore. Oh my god. Alright. Anyways, so guys, that's all I have to say. Just don't expect me on IW anymore. I'm probably not gonna be playing anything like AIDS or XPs and stuff like that. So because I have played the game, like I played the game for a while now. I didn't enjoy it. I believe that Infinity Ward they really fucked the pooch up this year. They didn't really deliver. As a company that produces entertainment, I feel like they didn't deliver this year. I'm not gonna take anything away. The game was meant to be amazing. It was meant to be like Infinity Ward's Black Ops 3, like an Infinity Ward version of Black Ops 3. But they took the criticisms of people who didn't know what they were talking about in Black Ops 2. They said Black Ops 3 is bad because this, and this. But they had no good foundation from the bitching. And I feel like I criticized Clayster in the beginning of the year a little too harshly for backing the game up so much, but at the same time, he didn't have really good points. Like, the game is produced, they're not gonna just throw away years of creating a game just because we don't like it. But at the same time, they could have done a little bit more of a better job. They, instead of patching weapons and doing stuff like that, patching weapons was a big thing. They could have how do you say it? Instead of patching, instead of doing what's it called, camos and stuff like that, because every update that they came out with in the middle of the game was just camos and content. But it wasn't what we really needed. What we really needed was a patching for the weapons, for the movement. They should have patched Skinnybot. Skinnybot's still a problem. That's why he got banned on UMG, and a lot of people were upset about that because they were like, "Oh, but I like Skinnybot," and but they won't admit that they're abusive with him. Like, anybody can use Skinnybot. Skinnybot is meant for brain dead meatheads. In all honesty, so. But honestly, that's what I have to say, guys. Just don't expect me on IW anymore, just because I just don't like the game anymore. I'm completely tired of it. I withstood it for a couple more, about a month and a half. I said, I'm not dealing with this. Honestly, I enjoyed this game a lot more, just because I'm familiar with this game, and it's not just familiarity. Like, people, Wiseman once said that it's not good to only live in the familiar. You should go out and explore. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to do. See, I have a friend called Homie Lokes. Homie Lokes is a good friend of mine, but I just don't see myself playing the game anymore. So, homie, it's good. I'm not playing the game anymore, dude. Honestly, I'm just gonna play MWR for the rest of this year until the next Call of Duty comes out. I'm not playing IW. I'm just not gonna, I'm not gonna play that game anymore. Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys later. Bye. That was a recording.